And then after I had my kids, it still wasn't a vanity thing. It's I need to get back to a healthier weight and be able to take care of my kids the way that I should.
When you're working out, you can't be checking your email, you can't be doing all that stuff. You have to like put your phone down and actually like focus getting through the workout.
But it's like you got to go here because you're not probably going to make it up the 5 steps, so you fall. So you're like, this shit doesn't work.
Right.
So you stop.
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Totem Podcast. Like always, I'm Monico, Carrillo, your host. But of course, we got...
My name's Eric. I'm your other co-host here on the show. But guys, before we get started, if you guys like the conversations we're having, if you guys like the guests we have, if you guys like the things we're doing here on the podcast, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're on all of the podcast streaming platforms, so make sure to just share it around if you find value in what we're doing here. But with that, guys, we invite you to the podcast where an act of rebellion is to question.
Like we always talk about, guys, fitness is big for us. I think it all starts with fitness. To be a great business owner, you got to be, I think, to a certain level. It starts with your fitness. So today we brought the founder of One and Dunn Fitness. Amanda, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you for coming on. We were talking earlier, like we don't really know each other, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know, who might not know who you are, can you just give them a little bit of a breakdown about who you are and what you do?
My name's Amanda Dunn. I moved to Fort Morgan. Well, I like to say I crashed my dad's bachelor pad when I was about 12. I'm actually like from the Front Range, but I started One and Dunn Health and Fitness when we were coming in year 1 of the COVID pandemic. I was actually helping another lady run her online business. I came on with her as a health and fitness consultant and then realized I was doing more of her work than she was doing and decided to kind of break away from that and do my own thing. I think it pissed her off a little bit, but she reached out to me and was like, please don't take any of my clients. If
you're not pissing some people off, you're not doing anything.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure. It's a rough industry, especially as a solo entrepreneur. There's a lot of people trying to do the same thing that you're doing. So,
especially got like all the people on social media, they're the so-called influencers, just putting videos of themselves working out and stuff. It's nothing wrong with that, but then they claiming to be something they're not.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Goob on Instagram. Goob U2, I think is what it is, and he does like all of these kind of reveals of the fitness influencers who are photoshopping their stuff and
oh really
he calls them all out. It's pretty cool. You guys
so they photoshop like how they look or like what they're saying that those works or what?
They're literally like photoshopping their pictures. Right. So they'll have one picture where they're like, this is me getting ready for a competition, but then he has like he'll draw a line on the wall and show where they snatch their waist in or even like try to make their butt bigger. So it's, for the people that are going for that look.
I've heard of Joey Swole, I think that's his name. Mm-hmm. Because people like post videos and they're like, oh, I can't believe they crossed in front of my camera. And he's like, actually,
right.
You're the dickhead here. Like you gotta be respectful of other people. Like this is not your gym, it's everybody's gym.
Right.
Those ones are the ones I like.
Yeah, you guys will have to check out the Goob ones. They're pretty.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, but like how you started in 21, like what you're working as a consultant, but what led you kind of to do it? Was it just
what led you really to the fitness industry, I guess?
So I have not always been in shape. Like I was.
What?
I know,
really?
Right? So like my heaviest was when I graduated high school. I was 178 pounds, I think, when I graduated high school. So like 50, 60 pounds heavier than what I am now.
So you didn't want to keep your high school body?
No. The Mom Bod is not a thing for me. So I, like when I was 20, I literally figured I needed to change something. Like I grew up my entire life, my weight fluctuated, and my mom was the same way. Her weight fluctuated, and my dad is very tall and thin. And so my brother is very tall and thin, like my older brother's very tall and thin. And I obviously did not luck out with that. So when I was like 20 years old, and I literally was in the Maurice's dressing room and trying on jeans that like, oh, these are my size, and my fat ass did not fit in those jeans. And I literally had tears and was like, I am not leaving this dressing room in those big ass jeans. I am going to shimmy my way back into the jeans I came in here in, and I'm doing something different. And literally, like, that was my turning point. You know, I can remember when I was younger, people would say, I was like the biggest kid in my probably 4th and 5th grade class, like not just weight size, but I was like the tallest kid. And I can remember people always saying, you know, holy shit, you're so big. And it's like, oh, thanks.
Kids are savages.
Yeah,
kids are bullies.
They really are. And so, you know, as I got older, I mean, my weight fluctuated up and down, but people always commented on it. But it was never... I think they meant for it to be kind of a compliment when you would drop weight, but when you're a kid, that's not a compliment. Like, oh, wow, you're fat now, and oh, good job, you're lost some weight.
You're less fat.
Yeah, now you're not so fat as you were when we saw you last time. So, yeah, I mean, I learned how to control my weight on my own. Like, I didn't have a support group. I didn't, my boys' dad, when he was in the picture, like, he was an alcoholic, so he didn't give two shits whether or not he was fat or skinny. So, like, I relearned how to cook for myself, and I took baby steps. Like, I learned first how to eat differently, and then I learned, like, okay, you eat this way, now let's incorporate some cardio. And then it was like, okay, you have that down, now let's build some muscle so you can keep that fat off. And so I, like, just took the little steps that were necessary.
Yeah. So was it when you were 20 when that shift changed for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everybody we talk to here, like, on the show is, like, everybody has that moment where it, like, flips a switch for them. Like, even for me, like, I was, it was, like, my 21st birthday probably, and we were doing some pictures and stuff, and then I went back and looked at the pictures, and I was like, oh, shit, like.
Yeah.
You need
We took an extra 10 minutes taking pictures, because I was like, oh, no, give me from this angle, oh, no, let me suck it in. And then everything I did, I looked the same, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Well, I remember the first time.
Tell her how big you were, though. Like, because she probably don't know you when you were bigger.
I was, my heaviest was 320.
I would have never have guessed that.
I've lost 70 pounds so far.
That's awesome.
So far, and I got 30 more to go. I want to complete the 100
awesome.
and then see where to go from there. But when I first saw myself in those pictures, I was like, oh no. And then I went to go buy the scale, and I was like, oh shit, like, and now I really have to do something about it.
Right. Well, and that's how kind of like the first time I saw a picture of because you just get fat. Like, you don't realize. I mean, you know, your sizes are changing.
Slow asphyxiation.
Yes.
Slowly just climbs on you.
Yep. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the happened? Yeah. And so I remember the first time I ever saw a picture of myself, I told my mom, I was like, why did you not tell me I was so fat? She's like, well,
I don't want to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
That's what everyone says.
That's what everybody says.
And I'm like, no, you could have told me.
But do you think they could have told you, honestly, in that? Because usually because I was fatter too, I've lost like 40 pounds. But when you're in that spot, you're just like, fuck you. You know, you get in that mentality, like, right. You're just picking on, you get defensive.
I think I probably would have been a little defensive, but I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew I was fat. Like, okay. People would comment on it, but it was also like, fuck you, I'm going to be who I want to be. Yeah. I don't care if you think I'm fat, but you always have that little voice in the back of your head that's like, no, you're fat and you need to do something about it. Mm-hmm. So I think it would have been mixed. Like, it would have probably depended on who said it to me as to whether or not I took offense to it, or I was like, okay, this is constructive criticism. I probably should do something. Like, naughty to ho-ho.
It's like that saying, it's like, who are you taking advice from? Are you taking advice from people who are actually doing something you want to be doing, or they have the future you want, or like the body you want, or are you just taking advice from the random like person who's just talking out of their ass pretty much? Right.
Yeah. And I think that's where it gets hard for a lot of people, though, is because you see these people who sometimes it's like this unrealistic expectation. You, like, unless you have a trainer, and I mean, like, not even a trainer like me, like a Hollywood celebrity trainer and somebody that cook all of your meals all of the time. I think that's where we get so caught up in, like, this is what you're supposed to look like. Like, this is the ideal of what you're supposed to look like. And I think it's hard for men and women. Like, we were talking about my sons before, we went on, and my son right now, one of my boys right now he idolizes a bodybuilder, so he's bulking, and I'm like, dude, no, you need to start cutting now. Like,
You start bulking, then it's gonna be a hard time to turn around.
Yeah, because when you bulk, you are consuming so many more calories than your body is used to consuming. You're jumping up from 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories to 3 to 5, just depending on what your end goal is. But
I mean, how intimidating is that? Do you think it probably has to be for mom to be like in a 6-pack and shit? Like, I think it has to be pretty intimidating, Your mom's like, stop eating that.
Like, okay, fork down.
No, but how is it like for like on a serious note, like, because usually you have your parents like, oh, they try to like, don't do this or don't do that, but you're like actual trainer and you're telling them like, don't do this and don't do that, but then you're in mom mode, so it's like, how's that?
Sometimes it's hard because I'm like, I never wanted to be that parent that was like, you can't have that. But I was never that parent that rewarded with food either. So it's kind of a balance. But now that they're in college and away from home, it is a little bit harder to be like, you got to watch what you eat, dude. Even though you're bulking, like, let's not do a dirty bulk. Stop, we can't do the ho-hos and stuff like that. So he is pretty good about like, increasing protein and watching his carbs and stuff like that. But there still is that mom switch that flips on, and I'm like, just eat it. I don't even care anymore. It's macaroni.
Those freshman 15 will creep up while you fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the freshman 15.
Freshman 30.
Yeah, really. Like, they creep up fast, and it's like the thing, like you're bulking and it's good,
Right.
I mean, I've been on a cutting season for the past 25 years. I'm still not there, but I guess it's. I know the whole process, like why they do it and stuff. It's just like me. I'm just like, I don't know.
Doing it with the end goal in mind. That's super important. Like, because even like I've heard of people just getting like super like down on themselves because they see themselves getting like fatter. Yeah. But then it's like going with it, like plan in mind. Okay, I'm gonna do it, and then the results are going to pay off. Right.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part of bulking is the increased weight because there's so much puffiness. And it's,
How many, like, if you don't mind, like, I don't know, they say never ask a woman her age, but, like how old are you? Like, how long have you been in shape? Because I don't think you didn't get in shape just like a year ago.
No.
Right? You've been in shape for a bit.
No, I'm 44. So I've been doing this for 24 years.
Okay. So you look great for 44. You don't look like 44.
Well, thank you.
Honestly, so.
Thank you. Well, so when I first lost weight, I kept all of that weight off. I actually got pregnant with a set of twins, lost that set of twins, and then got pregnant with my boys. And I gained every pound I lost back with my pregnancy. And I remember the doctor telling me when I was leaving, he's like, have you been drinking like a lot of milk or something? You've gained a ton of weight. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. I'm pregnant with twins. Like, I don't know what the expectation is, but I'm pretty sure 54 pounds isn't that bad.
It's like, thanks, Dick.
For real. So, but, when I always wanted to be like a healthy mom. I wanted to be able to keep up with my kids and play with them and not be old before my time. So that was my driver to like lose that weight after I had my boys. And I did. I lost all of that weight after I had my kids, and I've kept it off this whole time. So
I've like more of like a.
Did you hear that? No, I'm listening to a lawnmower.
The lawnmower?
Yeah, I was like, what the yeah, so I think it's like the thing of like being in shape is a long time, but did you do it more for like the physical look or for like the mental aspect of it?
When I first started, it was definitely mental. And then it's not, I wouldn't say it's a vanity thing for me. It's more of a comfort level now. Like, this is how I am comfortable looking. So it was never a vanity thing. It was more of like, I'm going to prove to everybody who thinks I'm fat and to myself that I can do this. And then after I had my kids, it still wasn't a vanity thing. It's I need to get back to a healthier weight and be able to take care of my kids the way that I should.
But were you like, did you like lack like a little bit like self-confidence that you're just like getting, because a lot of the, you get in the shape, to get in shape, you can see it. I don't know if fast is the right way either because it's not fast.
Right.
But you can see some results like of actual like physical work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that definitely became a driver.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely became a driver. You know, and I can remember, like, after I had my boys going to the swimming pool, I was very self-conscious about, like, swimsuits or, you know, what other moms thought of you in a swimsuit because, you know, I mean, it's the swimming pool and there's other moms there, you know, with their kids or, you know, there's the lifeguards or whatever. The lifeguards were in different shape when I was in high school than they are now. I mean, it was just a different, thin was in then instead of the more, you know, stocky bodybuilder type look. And so even as a young mom, I would every now and again catch myself comparing to that. And I'm like, that girl was 16. What the hell are you doing? You were 25 years old. Like, stop comparing yourself to that girl. So I think there's always a little bit of that in the back of your mind. But it was never, like, my main driver.
Do you think, like, when people start, like, getting serious about, like, getting in shape and stuff, do you think it matters if they're doing it for, like, vanity reasons or for just getting healthy to promote their self-confidence or whatever? Do you think it matters their reasoning? Mm-hmm. Or as long as they get started, that's the important part? I
absolutely think they have to have a reason behind it. A lot of people don't have a why. Like for me, my why has changed through the years. Like initially my why was to be healthier for myself, for my kids. And they are still a huge part of my why. Like I want them to know what you can do with hard work and, you know, how they can grow. But my why has also changed into a much larger audience. Like I want people who have had struggles in the past and kind of had a shitty past or whatever, realize that you can step outside of that. And I think a lot of people tend to gain weight when they're sad or depressed or, you know, they have big life changes that happen to them. And I think if they have a why behind why they're trying to get healthier, even if at first it is for vanity reasons, they have to keep pushing towards that why, even if it evolves. So, you know, if somebody's just wants to get healthier because they want to look like that girl or whatever, that guy, whatever, what do you do once you get there? Do you stop? Do you keep going? Do you fall back to where you were? I mean, you have to have something that either makes you want to stay there or make you get better. So I think that's a huge driver for anybody because it's easy to fall back to old habits. Super easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's a lot like the circle kind of you hang around with too, because if you're hanging out with people that just want to drink every weekend and want to just eat pizza and they just want to do this, I mean, you don't want to feel left out, so you're just like, I guess, give me another beer or give me some pizza or whatever, and it's just easy to fall, I think, into that route. So it's like you kind of have to turn it into a lifestyle. Like I try. I mean, every day. That's the whole thing with it. It's every day is a battle with it. It's just like me and my wife. Like we have a home gym, and you know we do stuff there. But it's like if she's just like, hey, you know what? I got some cake. You know, let's watch a movie and let's have some cake. I mean, it's easy to just.
So it's better to have an accountability partner when you go through the journey. Then.
Yeah. I think you need a partner to, but then see that's kind of your ego because then my wife's like, "You're really gonna eat that right now?" And then you can easily be like, "Man, I just had a long fucking day at work, man. You don't understand me." And so that's the whole thing. Yeah. But then I think that's where it goes back to like you're saying, you're not. And I guess an okay like state of mind, I guess you can say like you need a bigger reasoning because then you'll be like, you just fall right back into it, like.
Right. Well, there's a saying that you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most.
Yeah.
And I think that is really true. When I started getting into shape, I noticed that I stopped hanging around with a lot of people. Like I have friends and I have acquaintances, but they're not people that I hang out with a ton just because I have a way different lifestyle. Like my health and fitness is very important to me. So my routine of getting up at 3:30 in the morning to make sure that I get my first workout in is not how they live their life. And a lot of people are like, why in the fuck do you get up at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I seen it. I was like, is this true?
3:30 in the morning.
So and it started, so I became a single mom when my boys were 1.5 years old. So I had to commute back and forth to Greeley to work. So like it was either 3:30 in the morning on my lunch hour or after I picked my boys up from daycare when I got home. And the first year I worked up there, I went back to school. So I had never went to college right after high school. So I was working towards my associate degree. So I was driving an hour to work. I would sit in a classroom on my lunch hour, listen to all these young girls talk about how they were going to party with their grant money. And I'm like, I just want a fucking education. I need something better for my kids. And then, I would drive home, grab my kids, get them, fed, bathed, whatever. And
how old are you at this time?
I was 26 or 27 when I went back to school. So not easy when you've been out of school that long. But yeah, it was either workout at 3:30 in the morning, workout on your lunch hour if you could find the time, or 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night when you're winding down from the day. So it's been a habit for a long time.
And I mean, it's hard when you first start, but then after you start doing it for so long, it's like becomes second nature.
Absolutely.
I've noticed that with me. Like, I used to like not work out at all, and then I started like forcing myself to work out, like trying to stay disciplined. And then now it's just like, oh, it's Monday, I have to get my workout in.
Yeah.
Oh, I have all these things that I need to get done. I need to edit. I need to go do this, but then I still make time. Like, okay, the only time I have free is at 5 in the morning. Cool. I'll wake up at 5 in the morning, work out, and then I'll get my day started.
Right. It's almost an addiction.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed with me, like my stuff, is that the days that I don't work out, I feel like shit.
Yep.
Like, it's like I feel like I'm missing something, and it's easy. Like, it sounds dumb. People can think it's fucking dumb, but it's like almost like a therapy kind of, because I notice it because I started losing. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 1.5-year-old. So you start getting mad for like dumb stuff, and then you're just like, well, dude, they don't know. So then that's when I noticed, like, I need to go, just like, let me go for a run, let me go do something just to burn some calories, because you try be depressed and try to be mad when you're gasping for air, like when you're running, when you're lifting, whatever you're doing. Right. It's really hard to stay mad, because you just want to grab some air.
Yep.
And yeah. It's good for like your mental health too. Just like if you got a lot of stuff going on throughout the day, like when you're working out, you can't be checking your email, you can't be doing all that stuff. You have to like put your phone down and actually like focus getting through the workout.
Well, right. Some people, you go to the gyms here and everyone's just on their phone. Got to get that TikTok in, that Snapchat, that get in the store. I gotta check in that I'm at the gym before I go into the gym.
Gotta take the picture to check in, because if you didn't take a picture, you didn't go.
What? Right. I tell my son that all the time. He'll be like, I maxed out on my PR. I'm like, pictures, or it didn't happen.
And then now it's got to be like, oh, video or it didn't happen, because he'll just throw 2 extra plates on there. And then
he'll be like, check this out. Absolutely, it is a therapy. I mean, and it, like I said, it becomes an addiction, and you crave it. Your body craves it, and I mean, I've had 2 knee surgeries, and my second knee surgery, they actually broke my legs and pinned it back together, so I was down for like 8 weeks.
Wow.
People probably hated being around me. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, how'd you do this to your knees? Like what?
So I had patellofemoral syndrome, which is just, it's runner's knee is basically what it is. It's where your hips are offset and your knee doesn't track right. So they tried fixing it the first time with just taking some cartilage out. They drilled a hole in my tibia, let the bone marrow flow back out to try to create new cartilage, and then scraped some fragments that I had that were floating around in my knee. That one I was only down for like 2 or 3 weeks.
That sounds really painful.
Well, that lasted 4.5 years, and then I started having more problems with my knee, and they said basically the only way to fix it is to break your tibia, reposition it so that your kneecap is actually where it's supposed to be, and then screw that back together. So
do you run a lot? Mm-hmm. And then is that what led to it? Because I've heard a lot of people, they call it like runner's knee, but they're not runners, I guess.
Yeah. So mine was actually from running, but I have naturally offset hips anyway. Okay. So the shift in your hips can cause it as well. And then the weight of having carried twins also made my hips a little.
So
my knees just started to hurt. Because my knees are weird. My kneecaps are like facing out.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah, it's a different feeling for sure. So before I had my first knee surgery, I had signed up with my boys and actually my bonus daughter, and then my mom and my older brother, we all signed up for the 5K, the color run down at Riverside Park.
Okay.
And literally this was like a week before I had my surgery. And it hurt so bad to run on my knee. But there was this old guy in front of me, and I'm like, fuck that. He is not going to win.
He's not.
I am not going to be finishing behind this like 70-year-old dude. It's not going to happen.
That poor grandpa, he just wanted to go for a run, you know, and you're over here just like making it personal on him.
I know, poor guy. So like that was my final run before my first knee surgery. But my son and I finished Xander, the blonde one with no mustache.
I was like, the mustache or no mustache?
We ended up finishing like second and third, and I was like, all right, I'll take it. I was in pain for a little while afterwards, but.
So how long ago did you have your first surgery?
So my first surgery was probably 8 years ago.
Okay. And what about your other one?
That one was 3.5 years ago, almost now.
Dang. That's crazy.
It sounds rough.
Because you work out a lot, so it's like, how's like
the
your leg workouts and stuff now?
I can feel if it gets a little tender, like I know I need to slow down. Leg workouts aren't as bad as the impact of like when I do sprint intervals. Sprint intervals, if I do a leg workout first and then sprint intervals, it's a little bit rough.
Okay. So have you done any other stuff to kind of like, I guess, get it back up to par? Like I know there's a lot of stuff like now that you can do like stem cell stuff. Or have you messed with it?
I haven't done any of that stuff yet.
Okay.
I mean, if it gets bad enough in the future, I might try it, but yeah.
So how'd you get started like coaching like other people and being like a trainer?
I kind of just fell into it after I was on with the other lady with her fitness channel. Like I never ever wanted to be on social media. Like I hated social media, and that is not a joke. Like I used to give my kids, all three of them, so much shit about being on social media because they'd be like every 5 minutes and we're like, seriously, you're eating dinner, put your damn phone down.
Making sure they got the likes and all that stuff.
Yeah. So my boss convinced me to compete in the Miss Health and Fitness magazine cover competition in 2020. And I wasn't going to do it at first because one of the requirements is you have to have a social media following. You have to have either Instagram, Facebook, or both.
Did you have to have a certain amount of followers, or just as long as you had an account?
As long as you had an account. So literally, like, my account was my family. And I had everything locked down, private. Like, you could not find me on social media. And then once I finished up with that competition, the lady that ran the other website contacted me and reached out and said, hey, are you willing to help out? You're in great shape. You're kind of like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. So it kind of progressed from there. I mean, I still had my social media locked down somewhat. Like I didn't have it as a business account. I had it, private so that people had to request to, follow or friend or whatever. And then I kind of wanted to feel like I was an authority on the topic. So then I went and got my MCPT, which is your Master Certified Personal Trainer. So I have 6 other certifications underneath that, plus my nutrition certification. And then literally people just started reaching out to me. What's frustrating is you get a lot of assholes, and they just want to know what to do. Like, give me a meal plan. What if I eat this? Can I do this workout? And I'm like, at first I was very...
So they just like DM you and be like, hey, what should I be doing?
Yeah. And at first it didn't bother me because I was new to it, and now it gets to the point where it's like, all right, asshole.
Yeah. You've
asked me this question 50 times and I've already answered you.
Yeah. So is it people are just doing it for free that they don't want to pay anything, or what?
Yeah, basically they're looking for free information.
Free's never good. Free's never that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's free, then you should be on the lookout because it's probably not that great.
Right. So that was one thing that was like, this is rough. Because I have a hard time saying no to people, like, especially when it comes to helping. And especially with the health and fitness stuff. Like, if I see somebody doing something wrong, I'm like, holy shit, that's not going to feel good tomorrow. But I don't say anything. And then if they reach out to me, I'm like, well, check your form. And I just try to give them minimal information, but yeah.
Well, how did the magazine cover competition go?
I got to the third round, but didn't make it to finals. So it's an interesting competition. You learn a lot about kind of the fitness industry when you do things like that. Myself and a couple other people, we realized very quickly that it's how much money you can throw at it, and not so much about the shape you're in. I mean, there were girls in way better shape than I'm in. And the lady that ended up winning the cover competition literally had like 2 posts on social media, but we later found out it was the money aspect of it, because you can buy votes. So, you know, the better following you have with more money, the more votes you get. So
money moves some stuff.
Yeah, for
money
sure.
Has some power.
It does. You know what? We actually told my family, like, stop donating. Just let it fall how it's going to fall. I don't want to buy votes. If I'm going to get on a cover of something, I want it to be because I earned it, not because I paid for it.
Yeah. Went on like your actual own merits instead of just throwing money at it.
Yeah.
So then, so you, was that when you started working with other lady with her stuff?
Yep.
And how long did you work with her?
I worked with her for probably 8 months.
And it was just like online kind of coaching stuff too?
Yep. Yeah. We would do like online fitness challenges, and I would do like a weekly coaching on either nutrition, or I would do like modification movements, because some of these ladies were older ladies, so they needed, you know, a regression of an exercise. So we would do squats, but we would show them how to like sit in a chair and stand up instead of doing a full squat, or, you know,
like more like everyday kind of stuff. I guess
right. More functional fitness type things.
Okay. So I guess who's like the ideal person that you would train, I guess, or who that you work with? Because people see you, they're like, because I've seen your posts and stuff, and I'm pretty sure there's people that are like, oh no, I'm not even going to contact her because that shit looks scary. I'm sure.
There are. It's funny because people tell me all the time, they're like, you're intimidating. I'm like, I'm not an asshole.
I promise.
I swear I will not make you do the same workouts that I do. No, I actually have been working with a girl right now for about 1.5 years, and she is a lifelong friend of mine. I've known her since she was 9. She's down 60 pounds. We've been working together for about 1.5 years, but literally she is my ideal client. She listens. She asks questions. She's not afraid to be like, hey, is this what I'm supposed to be doing, or is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Or, you know, if she goes out to eat, what am I supposed to be eating? Like, those are my ideal clients. Like, I don't mind a challenge. A challenge doesn't bother me. But the people that are willing to just, like, throw down money and then never do anything you're saying, it's like, why are you wasting our time? Because it's not just my time. I'll take your money all day long if you just want to give it to me. Like, but I want you to get something out of it, because I want you to tell your friends that you got great results by working with me. So, you know, I've had those clients where they're like, okay, here's some money, now tell me what to do. And you give them a meal plan and they're like, oh, I'm not eating that. And I'm like, well, then eat ice cream. I don't care.
I don't see ice cream on the schedule. but that's funny, like, kind of bringing it back a little bit. With what you're saying, your ideal, your client that you have, you've had her for about, what'd you say, 1.5 years?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen from one day to
her,
another. Shout out to her. That's great.
Yeah.
Lady client, but
her name's Kim.
Okay, I don't want to put the name, but she said it. But the whole thing is, like, we talk about it too in business. Like, you're not gonna just start doing something one time for like a month and cool, it's great. You know, you gotta. Because
the thing is, like, people don't get overweight overnight. They get overweight over several months, several years, and they slowly build it up. But then they expect to lose it all overnight.
Right.
And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think some people set unrealistic expectations. Like, my goal when I started working out was never to have abs. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to wake up one day, I'm going to have a six-pack. That's what my plan is. It just happened when I found out how to fuel my body right. But I think people see me and they're like, oh, shit, she's got kids and she's got abs? Like, game on.
Must be nice. That's what the...
Yep, must be nice, exactly. Or, you know, I didn't work for what I've got. And then people start following me on social media and they're like, holy shit, you work out like twice, sometimes 3 times a day, and not for like 10-minute intervals. And they're like, yeah, you know, I do, and I don't just do my workouts, I do other people's challenges and I do other people's programs, and you have to find what works for you. And yeah, I mean, sure, those first 10 pounds come off pretty quick, and what people don't understand is that's typically water weight. And you can put that back on just as fast as you took it off. It's the people that stay with it after those 10 pounds that, you know, if they're willing to put in the work, that's where you start getting results.
Yeah, I like how you were saying that people set unrealistic goals. I think people have a dream of being this, but they got to set goals to be able to get there. Like, you got to... Right. It's like, I don't know if you guys seen a meme, like a person's trying to go up the stairs and he just wants to skip like 5 steps. But it's like, you got to go here because you're not probably going to make it up the 5 steps, so you fall. So you're like, this shit doesn't work.
Right.
So you stop. But it's like, well, no, you got to. That's why the steps are there for a reason.
Right. And I think what people don't understand too is like when you get so far in that you're doing like bodybuilding, which I don't know that I would ever do a competition, maybe someday, just to prove that I can.
Yeah, yet.
But I think, you know, when you start looking at those people, like they have trainers that is what they do day in and day out, is like they are calorie Nazis. Like that's all they do is this, and you follow their plan. And if you don't, you're not going to get what you want on stage. And even trainers hire trainers for that reason, because my specialty may not be what I need to get up on a stage and be like, here I am, and then all these other chicks get up there and I'm like, oh shit.
It also helps you keep you accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can like, okay, I think this might be right for me, but then your trainer's like, no, you got to do this, this, and this.
Right.
And then you got to do your check-ins, make sure you're on your shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm just thinking like. Got me thinking when usually when we're younger we get a teacher to teach you like math, to
Right.
teach you English, to teach you XYZ, and then as you get older you're just like, trainer, like why am I gonna tell this lady to tell me what to eat? Like I know what to eat, I'm an adult. To tell me to work out, to go
It's the
walk.
ego.
Yeah.
Like, but like we know that like having a mentor or teacher to get us to this goal helps us or get there faster, but like why do we not let it?
We might know, but then other people, they don't know. They don't think they need mentors in life or for anything. They're like, oh,
I think that they say I don't think I need it, so they got the emotional side.
Right.
They let their emotions speak louder. They don't do rational. What is it? I think boys and young girls do react on emotional stuff. Like if you're a man or if you're a real men or women, you take action like without emotion. Like you have to be able to take the emotion out of it.
Right.
Because like that's what I think.
Yeah, you have to base it on logic more than emotion.
Yeah, I mean, and most people, like just because you're 30 or 40 doesn't mean you know what you're doing or you're logical.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you look at people that are like busting their ass and then they can't figure out why they're losing weight, but you look at their diet and they're at McDonald's every day. And you know what they're doing that is causing them not to be able to see the results, but they don't understand what they're doing. And so those are the people sometimes that fall back into the old habits that are like, well, then I'm going to stop working out because it's not working anyway. And you're like, no, keep working out. Stop eating the Big Macs. Like,
well, what percentage do you think is working out and diet for people to lose weight?
I really do agree with the rule of thumb typically is 80-20. And I truly agree with that. 80 diet, 20 fitness. But I also think it depends largely on what physique you're going for, because I think it can be more towards the fitness side of it if you're looking for a specific physique. Like you take people that do competitions, they're working out 3 times a day, and they're you're doing fasted cardio in the morning for an hour, you're doing arms or legs, on your lunch hour, and then you're going home again at night and you're doing another fasted cardio session or another lifting session. So that is, even though it's a very strict diet too, that's a lot of training. Like the normal person doesn't do that much training.
Yeah, we had Joe Stump on here a few weeks back.
Shout out to Joe.
and he was telling us because he just like recently did a competition and all the stuff he had to do. He had to do the fasted cardio. He had to watch what he was eating, but then he would still go to the gym and like go for like 2 hours and bust it out.
So that's crazy. And he was telling us like some of his like when they're like we were talking earlier when they're bulking, he's like, what was he saying? What he eats like peanut butter jelly like at 4 a.m. or something like that.
He said he eats like 2 or 3 of them before he goes to work out in the morning because he's bulking up right now before his next competition.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, see, that part of it, I don't think I could do. I don't think I could be up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, I gotta eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
No.
Like,
Snack
no.
time.
I gotta get up at 3 and run anyway. I'm not getting up at 2 and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh yeah.
But kind of going off of that, I mean, big shout out to Logan. Like, we want to go do I don't know if you know Logan.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we want to go do a workout with him, dude. And I was sore for like a week.
Oh yeah. The next day because
oh
he's like, oh yeah, you got to get the deep stretches. It was a
dude. I was sore for like a week. It was a good one. So shout out to him for that one. But I wanted to ask you. So you know, there's been a lot of people. I don't know if it's a fad. You know, on Insta. You know, social media. The cold plunges. Like a lot of people want to do it. Have you tried it? Do you do it?
No. I hate cold. I will tense up more than I would. I don't know that it would benefit me.
But you put yourself through brutal stuff. Like you're running on one leg pretty much and all this stuff.
You're hopping like a kangaroo.
And then you're like...
a little cold water should be easy.
You do 2-3 workouts a day or whatever and run on one leg and then you're just like the water. Like you're just like, what?
I don't know. I think it's just... We see so much on social media that... Because like... We were talking earlier about Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
Like that was part of 75 Hard is the cold plunges, the cold showers. I really hate cold that much that I'm not going to jump on that train. Like lukewarm, maybe.
Maybe.
And I know there's supposed to be benefits and healing benefits, but I think it's like a lot of things. It's a fad, and it's unless they can prove that there are serious health benefits to your muscles and blood flow and circulation. I mean, athletes use it all the time, but they're athletes and they're beating the shit out of their bodies to where they're like bruised and can't walk. And so for those kind of benefits, absolutely. But for somebody like me who I'm not a football player.
But you put your body through like crazy work. For like the recovery, I mean, because that's what they say, like, to recover faster, like the cold, you know, or like ice your arm whenever you like get a bruise and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I mean, I was just asking you because I mean, I do it. I mean, but I don't do it every day. Full disclosure. Sorry to let you guys down. But I think it's a lot for like the mental for the mental aspect.
Right.
Because you're just like, I just think about it. I play stupid mind games with myself, but you're just like, before you get in, you're just like, oh, no, I don't know if I really need to do this today. And then I'm just like, how many more stuff in my life am I doing that with?
Right.
Like in business, with my family, with my kids. Like, oh, yeah, I'll go play with my daughter tomorrow at the park. Or I'll go read that book tomorrow with them. And then 5-10 years later, here we are. You know, so it's stuff. That's kind of why I do it. It's kind of a mind fuck.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like you said, benefits. I don't know if it does, but it helps.
They are.
They say they are, but for me, it's like the mind fuck. Like it's,
right.
So it's.
And I think a lot of people that do it. I think that's what it is like mind over matter. Like if you can sit in a ice cold bath for 3 minutes, you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Like this is so hard. It's freezing out, and I just did this. There's nothing harder probably in the day that can go. You know. Right. So that's kind of. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple of years if it works or not.
When you're all frozen in the bathtub.
Right.
But it goes down to when people like start working out, it's finding something you actually enjoy doing and sticking with it. Because for some people, they hate cardio, but then they can go and play basketball or run around the park or whatever. But it's like people think they have to do certain things to actually be fit, quote unquote fit or whatever. Right. But I think it's just about finding something that you like doing and sticking with it. It doesn't have to be exactly what I do or exactly what he does or anything. It's just doing something that gets your body moving and flowing.
That's kind of what I preach to my clients and even people that contact me that are potential clients is it's not about what I like. Because I guarantee you are not going to like what I like. You're not going to, burpee pull-ups are not for everybody. They're just fucking brutal on your body. Let's be honest. But that's why, when I talk to people, I say, find what you enjoy. Don't do the things that I enjoy if that's not something you enjoy. I like to run. I like to do sprint intervals. I love that. I am one of those people that if I am not sweating, I am not working. That's just how I've always operated. And what's funny about that is I hated running with a passion when I was in school. Like high school, I'd fake an injury in a second. Like, nope, not today. I think I sprained my ankle on the way to the field. And now I'm like, 10K, sure, let's go. But no, I preach that to people all the time. Like, if you do not like cardio, then don't do cardio. Do weights. But you walk at least, do something that gets your heart pumping, lift your weights faster, whatever.
People hear cardio and they think run on the treadmill.
Right.
No, you can power walk on an incline for 10, 15 minutes and then
just walk around the block. Like, just do something.
Yeah, jump rope. I mean, skip. Do whatever you want to do. So, yeah, that's a huge misconception is like, well, today I have running. That's going to suck. So I'm going to power through it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. And then they just quit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I actually noticed that with me. Like, I mean, not all the time, but you're just like, oh, I'm pretty sore today on this. I don't know if I really want to do it. So you're just like, I'll just do something else. You're like, and then I kind of catch myself like, well, if I don't want to do like shoulders or whatever today, like, why don't I just do like back or something,
Right.
Like, just because it's shoulders, like, yes, ideally I would have to do this to keep going, but like, I guess me doing back is better than me just sitting over there not doing anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just, I think, moving, but I'm kind of like you, like, I'm not, my warm-up, I have to start sweating, and then that's when I'm just like, okay, now I'm going to work out.
Right.
Because if I did the whole workout and I'm not even sweating, I'm just like, oh,
just wasted an hour.
Yeah, I just wasted an hour.
So what led you to actually starting your own fitness company? Because you were with this lady, and then you said you kind of didn't want to do it. You're just kind of doing it to help her out.
Yeah.
Is it like the customer service experience, or like what was it?
I think for me it was the people that reached out to me. Like, I felt like I was making a difference for people, and so I just wanted to branch out on my own and be able to do my own thing and brand myself my own way and not have to follow somebody else's guidelines as to what should be expected from people. One of the things that really turned me off for her, of her working with her, is one of her requirements to remain in her Facebook group was you had to participate in one paid challenge per year for her. And her challenges weren't cheap. And
one paid?
One paid.
So you pay to be able to
be in the challenge.
Okay.
And this money wasn't going back to anybody. It was, you were literally paying for one workout, and they were not hard workouts. Like, this is not something that should have been you have to pay for a challenge.
Okay.
So like, I did a bank challenge in my Facebook group last month, but everything that I collected, I drew a name at the end of that challenge, and all of that money went to them. I didn't make a cent off of it. It went to whoever won the challenge.
Okay.
So hers were geared towards all money making. I mean, it was, you will follow my meal plan. You will do these workouts. You will check in. You will post so many pictures a week. You will do, and I was like, no, that's too much. People don't want that.
Especially they're in a fitness challenge, they're already struggling with doing the workouts and trying to be on their nutrition.
Right. And, and the other thing that pissed me off was there were several older ladies that participated in these challenges. Some of them had like plantar fasciitis, or they had wrist problems. And they would ask, like, how do I modify this exercise so that it doesn't hurt? And literally her response would be, you can Google that. And I'm thinking, they just paid you $80 to participate in this challenge, and you won't even show them how to regress an exercise. So and I started doing that. Like, I would see a thing and I'd be like, okay, Saturday morning, let's hop on, and we're going to figure out how your wrists don't hurt to do a push-up. We're going to show you how to, modify that so it doesn't hurt your feet when you're trying to go down and up. And And from there, it was just kind of like, you know what? I think I can do this. And I know it's going to take some time to build my brand. I'm newer to it than most people, and it's just like being in shape, though. You look at other people that are so far ahead of you, and you're like, I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. But then you see their backstory, and they're like, I've been doing this for 11 years. In the first 5 years, I struggled. And I'm like, okay, now I feel better.
Yeah, there you go.
I always think of Andy's stories. Like, for the first 10 years, we didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, like, we're not so bad at that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. And it's the same no matter how you look at fitness. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. You just have to start.
Best time to plant trees today?
Yes.
So, if there's one thing that you'd want somebody to start doing, what do you think it would be, like, to better their health?
I think for a lot of people now, it's movement, because there's so much you can learn online about, like, proper nutrition and how to fuel your body, and but I think so many people forget that key piece, that's movement. And we are a sedentary society. Like, I take 2 walks a day at work, and they're not short walks, because I sit all day long. And so I think that we have become so accustomed to that we forget that movement is, like, that's what brings us to better health.
Yeah, I have the same thing. Like, I'm editing all day, so I'm just sitting in my chair looking at my computer. It's like I have to get up and I have to do my workout, yes, but then I also have to, like, do cardio.
Right.
Because I'm just sitting around all day, and I'm like, that's not the best thing. So I'll do, like, in the morning, I'll take my dogs on a walk, and then after my workout, I'll do, like, another 10, 15 minutes of cardio.
Right.
Because I know I'm not getting that in the middle of the day.
Right.
So what could you expect of One and Dunn for the next, say the next year? What could we expect?
I think probably more Facebook activity from me, as far as I love group challenges. I love to challenge people. So whether it be buy-in challenges that people either get the money back or we donate it to a cause that they're real interested in. My challenges for me are to grow a community that is healthier, more interested in becoming healthier. And I'm not like a big health guru nut. I'm not going to push that on everybody, but like, our kids learn from what we do. So if we sit around and we eat ho-hos all day, that's the behavior our kids are going to mimic.
Your actions are so loud that I can't hear you.
Yep, so exactly.
That's one of the models that I live by with my daughter. So
yeah, and I mean, like, when my kids were younger, if they wanted to play a sport, I put them in that sport. And I struggled through some of those sports, I'm not going to lie, because I played traveling baseball, and I hate baseball.
Just sitting there watching them just...
I had a great tan, but baseball is not my thing. But I mean, I let them try it. And I think that, we need to encourage that. Like, we need to encourage our kids to be a healthier generation, because we are so involved in social media, so involved. Like, if I had all of the money in the world, I would actually open my own gym, and it would be geared towards, like, working individuals. I mean, it would be stand-up. You would be amazed at the stand-up shit that they have for, like, they have desks that have the bikes built into them. They have the walking, decks for treadmills. It would be geared towards that kind of a community, but also a normal gym for everybody to come into. So yeah, I think within the next year I'm just trying to grow right now. Like, I want people to get involved. I want people to feel comfortable and confident, and not be intimidated, because I'm really not that intimidating.
Not that bad, guys.
and become more involved in challenges, and just be more forgiving of themselves, I guess.
More forgiving of themselves. Okay, I like that.
What do you mean by that?
I like, don't put so much pressure on yourself to have to be a certain way. Like, just because, I don't know if you guys know who Claire Thomas is or not. She's a First Form sponsored athlete.
Yes, I do.
She is like, holy crap. She has like a 12-pack. She is in amazing shape. I will never get to that point. But I want people to look at people like her and be inspired instead of be afraid. Like, I'll never obtain that, so why am I even going to try? I don't want people to feel that way about themselves. Because I've been there. I know how that feels to be like, no, I'm just fat and that's who I am. So, yay.
I'm big boned.
Yeah, we always say there's a lot of big fat on that big bone.
That's funny.
So where can people find you if they want to know a little bit more about you, or they want to get started with you, get signed up? How do they do that?
I'm on Facebook, just under my name, Amanda Dunn. I'm also on Instagram at One and Dunn Health and Fitness. I'm on TikTok. And then my website is One and Dunn Health and Fitness at GoDaddy sites.
Cool. Yeah, we'll drop all those down below. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I highly recommend people, especially summertime. I think people should get.
The summer body.
I was ready to say that. Everyone's like summer, like, oh, you should have started like 4 months ago, bro.
Right.
Summer bodies are built in the winter.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you for coming on. And,
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Educating us a little bit about the fitness world and how that all entails, I guess,
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. But guys, there you have it. If you guys want to know a little bit more about Amanda, we'll have her links down below. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to share the show if you guys like what we got going on here. But with that, guys, I'll leave you with our ending quote here, that an act of rebellion is to question.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.